Welcome, guys, back to the I Love Wrestling podcast. I'm your host, as always, Justin Woolwine, and today we are welcome with wrestling photographer JC. How we doing, man?
We're doing good, man. Thanks for having me on your podcast. I know we did this the first time around, but I wasn't feeling so hot about it, and I was like, you know what? Let's give it a second round. See how this one goes this time. But let me
Come,
let let the, let the people know who I truly am.
got you. The comeback's always the best part.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is.
Before we get into your wrestling fandom, your photography skills, all those
Mhm.
great things, would you like to let us know where we can catch some of this beautiful
Yeah,
photography of yours?
yeah. So my you can follow me on Instagram. It's JC. If you're like me, way. So it's JCIII dot images. That's on Instagram, and then I also have like a studio one as well for like Instagram. I think it's JC Images Studio. If not, I can always send it to you, and you can just post it up there or something. But yeah, so my first Instagram page that is dedicated all to wrestling, live entertainment, concerts, and some other stuff that I've done in the past. So all my work is on there. But yeah, yeah, that's where you guys can find me. That's exactly where you guys can find me.
And then also, I know off air we talked a little bit about it. You're also part of the crew,
Yes,
a collaborative group of you
yeah.
guys.
I guess I got my very first like wrestling clique. I guess you could kind of say we're all media extraordinaire. Yes, it's called the Crew. I think if you guys look us up, it's the Crew Shot It or something like that. I'm sorry, I'm a little bad, but it is composed of uh, two photographers and two videographers. So with that project for us, what we're trying to do is we're trying to um, give our beloved pro wrestlers a avenue of some sort so we can hey we can give you two sets of promo photos, we can give you a wrestling entrance if you need it, or if you need to cut a promo for an organization that you're fighting for that week, we can do all that. We're like a one-stop shop, and we're in Chicago. So even if it's like, hey, where you guys willing to travel, like we're at a point where we can kind of like go out there. But yeah, like right now, two of the out of all of us, like yeah, we're actually working with promotions. I am Sleepwalker and Infamous Photo. They're both handling CSW. I myself, like I'm gonna use the company that I work with. I work with freelance, but in my sense, I'm a freelance photographer when it comes down to it because I have worked with a lot of promotions this year, last year. So it's pretty cool. And then my last homie wrestles with Unicorn. He it's crazy because he's a wrestler, he's a wrestler, but he also handles media work as well. So he does like hard cams, he'll do like reels and everything. So we're all busy doing our own thing, but like honestly, like when it comes down to like collectively do something as the crew, like this is who we are. Like we'll help not even just wrestlers, like even someone like you. Like if you need to cut a promo or something, like we're just there to help people. Um, we're there to help, people just to have them have new material, new stuff. Because I mean, dude, the many times that I've heard people be like, man, I got this new wrestling gear and I want to take photos with it. Like the excitement, that's what excites us. It's because they want to show off their new gear. They want to show off something, or they want to be like have a little montage video or something. So that's what we do with the crew. But yeah, yeah, that's a small project. That's something that we've been working on. We even have our own hoodies. That's crazy.
I love it. I love it. With that, something little like that is so exciting because, like, I remember I made it obviously like when you go to get on like a pro wrestling tees or something, you got to hit a certain status before you're allowed in there. Um, I got there and then I started posting stuff. And then, like, once you get your own t-shirt on for the first time, your own hoodie, whatever it is, the excitement, I love it. It's one
I
of the best
know,
things. It's
like
rare to
it has.
find.
I'm gonna send you a photo of the hoodie, but like it says the crew in the front, and then it has our logos in the back. So I'm like, man, dude, I'm like, this is what's up. But
Where can you get those at?
actually, I have a friend of mine who he's out here in Chicago. He has his own company. It's called Windwave. I think it's called Windwave. If not, I'll send you his page.
Okay.
Um, yeah, dude. He made our hoodies, and we got them like within a good amount of time. He did the whole pressing and everything, and it was. I mean, I'm looking at it, like when I look at it, I'm like, damn, I'm like, this is a sexy sweater. And and he asked me, he's like, what did your boys think? I'm like, dude, they freaking loved it. They're already talking about like baseball jerseys. They're talking about like shirts. He's like, dude, he's like, yeah, let me know. He's like, I got you guys. I'm like, all right, cool.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I'll send you his Instagram work. He's great at what he does. So basically what he does is that he engraves stuff, like to, like liquor bottles. So like, let's say if you're celebrating something, and you need a liquor bottle, just something like, hey, I need like 20 of these bottles. He'll give you a price, and then he'll like basically put them on the machine, and it'll start like edging out the logo, the design, and yeah, he's really good at what he does.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Mhm.
I'll have to
Yeah,
check him out. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure.
I'll send you his information after we get off.
Yeah. Um, Here on the I Love Wrestling podcast, I try to start at the same spot. And it's easy. When did you find professional wrestling?
Ooh, you know what? I found professional wrestling when I was at least like 7 years old.
Okay.
I was 7. Um, my very first my very first wrestling moment and program was WrestleMania. God, was it WrestleMania 3 at the Silverdome?
With Hogan and Andre?
Yes.
Yep.
So that was my very first time ever watching professional wrestling. And from there, I just got hooked. Um, I didn't find out like yeah, WWE, because I'm not gonna say it the other way. I don't want you to get in trouble. I feel like for me that was the only thing that I knew at the time. Like, so I didn't know that there was a WCW already out there. I didn't know that there was like a NWA or like none of that. I just knew what I knew, WWE, and let's roll with it. And so wrestling has been a big part of my life from that time all the way till now. And I haven't stopped watching it. I have a soon, so this will be out. So she's going to be 5 next month. I got my daughter. I got my daughter. So my favorite wrestler is CM Punk. Love it, man.
Yep, given. It's a given.
Uh, yeah, I met him one time at C2E2. This was when he was already like like out of WWE. So this was like when he was like a free agent. I got to meet him, and it was pretty cool meeting him. And so now, fast forward, now I have a 5 year old. I got her chant. I have her saying 2 letters, 1 word, and she'll start a CM Punk chant. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is so cool. I'm like, I'm gonna record this one day. I'm gonna tag them. I'm like, yo, this is how it is in my house. I got her I got her saying yeet and actually doing the yeet.
That's good
So yeah,
stuff.
yeah. So it's good, right? So I'm I guess I'm keeping the tradition alive. It's like now I have my own kid, and she loves wrestling, and she asks her questions. But she's like, and she'll get excited because she'll know. She's like, oh my God. And she's like, Jay Uso. And she's like, yeet. I'm like, yep, that's exactly it. That's exactly how you do it. So yeah, I mean, wrestling for me has been like, uh, to this day, I still get made fun of, and like, people like telling me, man, you like watching men in like in shorts and stuff. I'm like, dude, it's just not men, it's women too. Like, what are you talking about? But I still get
Like,
made fun
hell
of it.
yeah, I love watching men in wrestling
Yeah.
wearing little shorts.
I love seeing that. No, I mean, I get made fun of it, but to me, like, I don't care, man. Like, to me, this is what I love, and because of that, I've made many great relationships. I've met a lot of people along the way. I've gotten to hear stories, and it's just pretty cool because it's like, man, like, holy crap, like it's like it's not every day you get the opportunity to say like I was in the same room with Sabu, rest in peace. There's not that many times that I could say, hey, oh my God, I was in the same room as Chavo Guerrero, just name dropping him, right? But that's the beauty part of it is like you forget for one that you're there to do work, but on top of that, you're also a fan. You also admire them. You also want to thank them for everything that they've done for wrestling. Or, you tell them like, hey man, like you were such a great role in my childhood or growing up, man. Like I didn't like you, but like just meeting you now is like, dude, like now I really like you, you know? I think like the best the best like I guess the best opportunity was at the Squared Circle Expo. I was there working with Mr. Kate and dude, like her so where she was at, I'm like
It's a great room.
I was like, yeah, right room, and I'm like, there is no freaking way. Like right next to her was Sergeant Slaughter, Brutus the Barber Beefcake,
Yeah, Gerald Briscoe.
Gerald Briscoe, JBL.
Stomp.
I think was Tino Santana in there too.
Yeah, Tito, and then Tatanka was in the corner.
Yeah, and
And
then
then Swerve.
and then you had Prince Nana and you had like Swerve. I'm like, wait, what? So it was pretty cool because I went over to JBL and I told JBL I was like, listen, man, I was like, I'm like huge fan. And he started. He's like, well, he's like, I appreciate it. And I'm like, you were the biggest villain in my wrestling career. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, the whole border patrol. And he started laughing. I'm like, listen, I'm gonna leave it at that. He's like, listen, he's like, no, I'm like, you know what, man? I'm like, you're good at what you do. I'm like, and this is why you're a legend. Um, like it's just one of those things that just grow organically. Like I guess like when I said like when you're in a room with someone and it's just like, damn, I would have never thought I would have been in the same room with so and so. It's like for me, it's like that's huge, and sometimes like I won't because I get it. As fans, we mark out. Even as working at a wrestling promotion, we'll still mark out. But it's like one of those things where it's like, man, like it's a pleasure to meet you. Like it's a pleasure to be in the same room with you. I hope everything goes great with you in the future and all stuff. And that's what it's all about. That's it's making those strong connections that will last a lifetime. And it's one of those things where it's like, damn, like I was in the same room as so and so.
It's really cool when you just get to like you said, be in that same room and then make that human level connection. Because like
Hmm.
we see him on TV, we're like, hey, this is JBL, he's the WWE champion, whatever. And then
Hmm.
you get to meet him, and he's just another guy he's got opportunities that
Yeah.
led him there. And to just sit down and like have a conversation, like you mentioned, Sabu, rest in peace. I've had him on the absolute pleasure, or Rhino, or
Hmm.
EC3, or whoever. Like, once you get them like in a conversation and get to talk to them or just get to meet them, it's like, okay,
Sure.
this isn't like obviously on TV, they're larger than life. It's a persona, but
Hmm.
to actually get to break down that, to see that human being is probably my favorite part.
Yeah, I think like one of the best experience that I've had as a fan. Um, so the last AEW show was at the Now Arena.
Hmm.
I don't know if this is going to be a new thing or what, but like before that, they would go to the Wintrust Arena. So I would always go with one of my buddies. And he's like, hey, he's like, we're only gonna stay for. He would tell me, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna stay for a little bit more. I really don't care. But there's been times where I've gone with him, and he's like, all right, he's like, we're only gonna stay for like the first two matches of Collision, then we're gonna go out. I'm like, all right, cool, dude. The way the structure is, like the way secure, you know how security is with certain arenas and stuff like that. But the with the Winchester Arena, because you have the hotel next door to them, they come out through the back door. Fans are there. They're not all that touchy grabby stuff. It's just like, oh my god, can I get a photo with you, dude? I got a photo with what's your name with I'm just gonna go on record. I'm sorry, Monet, Sasha,
Ladies Monet.
yeah, Mercedes Monet. So I got a photo with her, and like people were chanting Sasha, and she's like, "Who said that?" I was like, "Oh man!" Like it's just like having that fun time with the wrestlers. Granted, there are some that don't want to take that photo because they're either tired or they just want to go or they got to grab a next flight. To me, Jesus, sorry. To me, it's just one of those things where it's like I love what I do. I love what I do, and it's just like even as a fan, it's like, oh crap! Like I got to meet Mercedes Monet, or I got to see Justin Roberts. Like, holy crap! Like, that's what I love, dude. It's just like it's like as a fan, they'll take that time. Like, sure, okay, cool, we'll take that photo, or I'll sign something. Just simple stuff like that. But I just feel like honestly, again, it's just that connection you make with them that will allow you to be like, oh man, like I remember a time when this happened, or I remember a time when that happened. I've been fortunate enough to work with some great promotions. I've worked. Sorry, I'm outside. It's a beautiful day, and now we got dogs like barking everywhere. But I remember like recently, right now, I've gotten the opportunity to work with House of Glory when they come to Chicago.
Mhm.
Um, I've gone to work with Santana, and Santana is like blowing up right now. So I got an opportunity to work with him, and every time he would come to House of Glory, he'd be like, "Hey man," he's like, "Can we get some photos?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, man!" I'm like, "Let's get it," And like, I'm like, "This is my idea. This is what I want to do." He's like, "Perfect. Let's go for it." Um, just meeting those wrestlers because it's like, man, dude, like, so House of Glory is based out in New York. They get the best shows. We also get good shows too here in Chicago when they come here. But I'm just like, damn, dude, like all these AEW wrestlers are showing up over there, and who's gonna show up here? I mean, the last show that was here, Indy Hartwell showed up, and I met Indy Hartwell at the Squared Circle Expo. Got to interview her. I just asked like random questions. I found out I am now I know that Adidas in the United States are Adidas, but back in Australia they're called Adidas. I'm like, oh, I'm like, sweet. I'm like, I didn't know that. I'm like, that's pretty cool. So I got schooled on a little shoe knowledge. But the thing is, like, I've gotten to meet wrestlers, talk to them briefly, um, and then somehow, some way, I have this thing where the next day they'll be on another promotion. It's like, bro, like, but I just saw him. I just saw them at an independent show, and now they're wrestling for TNA, or they're wrestling for WWE, or they're wrestling for AEW. I'm like, how does that even happen? Um, you know, um, I ended up, so I interviewed her, Indy Hartwell, and then like that was a Saturday at the expo. By Sunday, she headed out to, I don't remember where the TNA pay-per-view took
Los
place,
Angeles.
but she got signed. I
Yep.
was like, what the heck, dude? I'm like,
In the
I
front
just
row.
interviewed I just interviewed her yesterday. What the heck? The same thing happened with Ricky Starks. Like, I met him, I took a photo of him and Santana, and then it just slipped out of my mouth. I was like, so NXT, and he chuckled and not like nothing. And then obviously when he came out to fight Santana, everyone was chanting NXT, NXT, and then like the following week he shows up on NXT. I'm like, wait, what the heck just happened? I'm like, I'm like, how does this even like? I'm not even like getting into people's business, but I'm just like, so I know stuff, and I know you do, and it's like, holy crap, dude. I'm like, I just saw him last Friday, and he's on NXT on Tuesday. I'm like, this is insane. I think one of my friends said it best, right? When a wrestler is released from their promotion and they go into the indies, he's like, everybody wants to have that photo of them because once they blow up, you have that photo. And it's true. Like, I think like for the most part, like I've been I want to say I've been blessed to like work with some great promotions. I didn't do photography with Galley Lucha, but I did some like ring some like hard cams for them. As of right now, I'm currently working with freelance. From time to time, I'm also working with Second Wrestling as well. I don't know if you've ever gone to any of the shows.
Unfortunately not. It's one of those I need to. I need to.
Dude, I don't know if they still have tickets, but they got a show on the 31st at the Cubby Bear, right across the street from Wrigley Field.
Okay. Okay. I'll
Yeah.
got
So
my
if
eye
you
out.
can get a ticket, if you can get a ticket, I strongly suggest the Cubby Bear of all places. Like that's kind of historic for them. To wrestle inside of a bar, like right across the street from Wrigley. That's pretty cool. But like I said, like for me, it's been one of those things where it's like I'm like, man, I'm really fortunate that wrestling has been my go-to since I was a kid. I mean, I love sports. I love every sports other than just wrestling. But the fact that if you would have asked 7-year-old me, hey, where do you think you see yourself in years to come? I would have never imagined that I'd be taking photos of wrestlers, um, concerts, or get to work with some great indie promotions that I've gotten a chance to work with to this day. I would have never, if you would have asked me and if you would have told me, like, dude, I would have been like, you're nuts. There's no way that I'm doing this. And like I said, I get to meet my, I guess you could say my idols, and I get to say thank you to them. Some will allow me to take photos with that for them, while some won't, and I'm okay with it. But as long as I've like, as long as I had that opportunity to like shake their hand, or excuse me, just to like be in the same room with them, that's good enough for me. That's good
Definitely.
enough for me.
Definitely. How did you get started doing photography?
Um, so because we're in June, and June is also Men's Mental Health Awareness, I got into photography a little after a bad relationship, and I honestly didn't know where I wanted to take life, and if I could be vulnerable just for a minute. Um, so photography basically saved my life. Um, It was like I think it was in December. I forget. It's been 17 years. But it was in December, and like I said, I just finished getting out of a bad relationship, and I didn't know what direction I wanted to go in life. Um, if it wasn't for my family in Florida, my cousin's husband had a camera, and he had no use for it. So she was like, "Hey, my husband wants to give this to you," and I was like, "Oh crap!" I'm like, okay, cool. Get a big box sent from Florida. It was the camera, the stand, you name it. It was everything. It was basically my very first camera. Um, and so I would like to say that photography, other than my belief in God, but I would also like to say that photography was a key component in allowing me to capture stuff. Because when I first started, it was just like buildings, nature, and that was it. But then after that, I was like, you know what, like, damn, like I could start doing this, not as a hobby, but I mean, for now, it's going to be a hobby. But like maybe down the line, I one day will be able to get my first professional camera. So yeah, so photography, it has been like my safe space to say, like, hey, like I'm here because of photography, but I'm here also because God intended me to still be on this earth. Because if that didn't happen, then I wouldn't have my beautiful daughter. For me, it's like I get to capture the essence of someone through my lens. So that's really how I got into photography. Like a bad breakup, a bad relationship, but then it's like you go into a dark corner and you don't know like if you'll ever get out of it. And I'm thankful that I have my family that gave me a very powerful tool to capture, like I said, capture the essence of just people being happy. And that's really like how I got into photography. I didn't go to school for it. I still watch a lot of YouTube tutorials on like how to like better myself, but you know, that's pretty much it.
So, you know, at first you started as a hobby, you move into try to, do a more professional role. What would you say is maybe like your first gig, so to speak? Like, what was the first one that made you say, "Hey, I'm in this"?
So my very first gig, it was a photo shoot. Um, it was a photo shoot, and I forget who it was. I, no, it was Trevor Outlaw.
Yep.
So his first shoot, his my first shoot was with Trevor Outlaw's girlfriend.
Okay.
Um, then from there, I had another photographer friend who I still have contact with him to this day. He's like, "Hey, I'm at the studio in Chicago, and I had just finished with her." And he's like, "Hey, I'm shooting three wrestlers, so I don't know if you want to come down and shoot with." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm down." So little did I know that the three wrestlers that would turn out to be would be Sky Blue, Missa Kate, and Shelly Benson. And I'm like, oh, so that was not only my first gig, but it was the first time me meeting three female professional wrestlers.
Okay.
And I'm like, and so my buddy's like, yeah, this is Sky. I'm like, oh, hey, nice to meet you, Missa. It's like the same thing. And yeah, that was like for my first gig, doing a photo shoot with Trevor All's girlfriend. And then after that, it was with Missa, Shelly, and Sky.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
What goes into like I've seen your photography, I've seen some stuff. We mentioned Infamous earlier. I've seen Arnley stuff, uh
Mhm.
all of it's great stuff. What goes into capturing these moments or these scenarios with these ladies and gentlemen inside the squared circle?
Um, if we're talking about like working outside of the squared circle, it's kind of nerve wracking for us, but it's nerve wracking for them because they've never done stuff like this, and as they're going, they now are. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like I want to do a shoot at the beach. I'm like, all right, cool. Like I don't know, I kind of look awkward here. I'm like, nah, you're good. Or if it's with the guys, it's like, man, yeah, I want to do this. I want to do something like something like this. Like the best one, I guess, was when I was working with CSW at the time. Conan had just won the title again for the second time. So, and I don't know if you know this, I don't know if you've had him on your podcast, but he's a big Baltimore Ravens fan.
Yep.
So, so, so he won the title that night, and he's like, hey, he's like, I want to remake that Kobe Bryant photo. I was like, he's like the one where he's wearing his leather varsity jacket and he's holding the trophy. I'm like, okay. He's like, well, I have my varsity Ravens jacket and a hat. He's like, I want to go in one of the offices and I'm gonna have the title over my shoulder and then just take it. I was like, okay, cool. I'm like, no worries. And we did. He took it. I think it's on there. I think it's on my Instagram.
I've heard this story.
But
It's a great
yeah,
story.
but yeah,
I
but
love it.
it was one of those things where I was like, man, it's like you take them out of your comfort zone, or you're taking them out of their comfort zone, but they're also taking you out of your comfort zone because it's like not something that like I'm getting to the point where I can recreate certain things, and they tell me like, hey, I want to create this photo with like how this person did. All right, cool. Let's try and do it. If it comes out, great. If it doesn't, we'll get it. So that's the thing. I love the fact that like they're very creative. And they're like, it's like I want to do a certain pose. I just don't know if it'll come out. All right, cool. Let's figure it out. Let's see how we can make it happen. And we'll go from there. So it's always one of those things where it's like you feel like you're comfortable, but then you're not comfortable, and it's like you feel like you got it, but you don't got it, and it's like you work with them until it gets to that point of perfection. It's like, yo, I think we have the shot, and sometimes it may be 20 shots, and out of the 20, you get one. Yeah. Oh yeah, man. There's times where I have probably like anywhere between 400 to 500 shots, and they'll look over and they're like, yeah, I like this one, and that one. And I'm like, oh, so you only like three out of the 500 that I shot? Yeah. And then it's like there's different outfits and everything. So it's like we'll go over them, we'll pick them out, and if they like it, then we go with those. And yeah, it's one of those things. It's one of those things where we both team up real well because it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, cool. Like I never done this before, but I would love to attempt to do it only because, and that's the beauty part, and that's one of the things that I like about shooting them, and just taking photos of them. You know,
What has been like the most like out there scenario that you've had to do, like shoot wise?
like what do you mean?
Like like a scenario where you didn't think it ever happened, whether it's a person or it's just like, hey, I want to capture this here kind of thing. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I uh like you didn't think it would like the shoot would happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Is the You know what? Gosh, I think I might have told you this the first time we did this. The very one thing that I never would have ever thought in my entire life would happen. When I got to shoot some of the girls from AEW, when Sky recently had signed with them, I got to work with alongside with Infamous Photo. We got to work with Ruby Soho, Willow Nightingale, Chris Statlander, referee Aubrey Edwards, and what was the last one? Oh, and Sky. So it was Sky Ruby. Oh, what's her name? God, Harley.
Harley Cameron?
Yes, Harley Cameron.
Okay.
Like it was one of those things. They had just gotten back from England from all
From All In?
in. They had just gotten from back from England. They were still suitcase everything. So to me, that was one of those things where it was we didn't know if it was going to happen, but it was gonna happen. What time we didn't know because all these girls that day they still had to go to meet and greets all the way out in Hoffman Estates or somewhere in Chicago. So basically, they were flying in from England. We did a shoot and then they had to go like right away. So that was one of those things like where we didn't think it would happen, but it did happen. Um, and just being able to like work with them was amazing. Because again, you've made those strong connections with people, and it's like, hey, I'm trying to work on doing a shoot with X, Y, and Z, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. But to have like the people that we had that day, man, it was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool moment. Just being able to meet them, and forget it that they're wrestlers. It's like, and it's also one of those things. Like when I was shooting with them, they're like, so how do I pose or what do I do? I've never done this before. I'm like, what? What do you mean you've never done this before? Like, I'm sure you've done this before. We used to work for these other organizations, so I'm pretty sure they told you how to pose. But it's like, again, it's like one of those things where it's like, all right, cool. Like that also takes you out of your comfort zone. Like, okay, cool. As a photographer, you have to navigate and you have to like tell these people like, all right, cool. Like, this is how we're gonna do it. This is how I want you to pose, and then we just go and like there. Um, I think also too, like when you do this stuff, it's like you have to feel confident about yourself because it's like, okay, if I have to kind of like pose you or touch you, it's like you have to feel confident about yourself, knowing that, hey, one, you're being professional. Two, this is your job. Three, they're asking you, how do you want me to pose? And you have to move them or you have to pose in a certain way. That way they can be like, all right, cool. Like, yeah, let's get the shot. We got it. But yeah, that was the one photo shoot that I didn't think was going to happen, and it happened. And Sky set it up, and we got it. We were supposed to get a couple more girls, but we got the girls that we got, and it was a cool moment. It was a cool moment for sure.
That's badass.
Hmm.
Something we might have talked about on the last podcast, but something that's got to feel validating is whenever, as a photographer, when you're taking pictures of these guys and girls and you're taking their promo pictures, and then your promo pictures are used on a match card or on graphics or things like that. How does that feel to have promotions utilizing the pictures that you've taken to showcase
Mm,
their cards and their events?
gratifying. gratifying. That I mean, I get it. Sometimes these promoters are like, "Hey, I don't. It's not in my budget." But I feel this. When you take those promo photos, like right now, as we speak, Indy Hartwell's photo is on a promo poster for House of Glory, which they'll have a show, I think somewhere in July over in Texas. So when I found out Indy Hartwell was coming to House of Glory for Chicago, obviously the promoter was like, "Hey, like I need you to take photos of this person, that person." Indy Hartwell's gonna, with a cowboy hat. He didn't get into much words till after I found out that the match she was having was for the HOG Women's Championship. She won that night in Chicago. And then the promoter's like, "Did you get the photos?" I'm like, "No." Well, get them now. Like, so I took a photo of her. I don't know if you've gone to the House of Glory website or Instagram page, but there's a promo photo of her with a cowboy hat with the title over her shoulder. When I saw that, I messaged the promoter. I was like, "Hey, is there any way that you can send me that poster?" And he's like, "This one?" I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Is there a reason?" I was like, "Honestly, man, like," and I never thought about this till now. Um, to me, I feel I, I already hit the jackpot, right? Like, I may not have gotten paid for the photo, and I'm okay with it, but my photo's on a promo. I'm sure. Like I said, for me, I think I've only been in the Indies for, I want to say 3 years. I've only been shooting in the indie world for 3 years. But the fact that like everybody else who's worked before me and have paved the way for me, they'll be like, "Oh, that's nothing." Like my shit's on New Japan Wrestling or AEW. And it's like, whoa, okay, like I get it. I'm not there yet. But like for me to see like my work on House of Glory or reality Booker T's promotion um says a lot. Like it's like, damn, like I can't believe that. I'm like, I look at it, I'm like, I can't believe that's my work. And I share with my friends, I'm like, "Yo, like this is me. Like the way, congratulations, dude, like you deserve it." It's like it's good to see hard work pay off, and it's good to see that your work is on there. Granted, there's a lot more talented photographers than myself, and I'm not afraid to say it. But I guess like when you've gotten the chance to again make that acquaintance, build that relationship, and they trust you to take those photos, and you take them, and you see your photo on their promo posters for their next event. To me, that's like I'm like, man, I made it. I made it. I'm there. I'm getting there. My silently, I know that that's my photo, and I'm like silently, I could just say, I'm like, damn, that is your work on a promo photo. So what I'm doing now is that if I know that that's my work, I'll just tell them like, "Hey, listen, I'm not asking you to tag me. I'm not asking you to collaborate with me. I just want to know if you could send me the promo poster because what I'm doing now is that everything that I know has been my work, I'm gonna print them out and I'm gonna be hanging them in my office. Because to me that's what's to me like just seeing my work on there on a promo poster, like to me it's like it's amazing. I'm that's my I think that's like my reward. That's my payment to know that like your work has been seen.
Okay. It's got to be, it's kind of like, you know, when you work hard in wrestling and you're rewarded with a championship,
Hmm.
you're in your field. It's like, oh, you take these pictures, you utilize these pictures, and then they make it on somewhere like a reality of wrestling or a
Hmm.
House of Glory, that which a lot of people would consider those a top indie. So it's like it's validating. Like you've said, it's
Hmm.
gratifying. And
Hmm.
obviously the next step is an MLW or a TNA or you never know, an AEW or a WWE. It's
Yeah,
that only time will tell kind of things.
I, I've gotten to work. I think we said this last time when we did the podcast. Like I got to work with Fourth Rope last year. Um, I've done media for AEW, not ringside or anything, but just like where the cameras are at. But I mean, I still have done that. I know they are coming to Chicago in July for like 6 shows. I haven't even applied for that, so I'm just like I'm gonna see if I can. at least get into one. But I've gotten so my very first exposure, my very first time that I got to work with a indie promotion um, was with CSW. So I would just be like a fill-in from time to time. If one photographer couldn't make it, like I would be the next in line. Um, and if she ever watches this, the three girls that I'm always gonna say thank you to are Tanissa, Shelly, and Sky. Because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't know indie wrestling. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have become a fan of indie wrestling. Because I feel like as you got the pros, but I just feel like wrestling connects us somehow. Like, I'll go to a show if I'm not shooting, and they're like, "Oh, yo, you're JC from like JC Images, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I love your work." And I'm like, "Oh, dude," I was like, "Stop," because it's like you don't, it's like you're not expecting that, right? You're not expecting someone else who's a photographer or someone else who works media, like, "Yo, like I love your work, man. Like your work's like top notch." And I'm just like, Thank you." I was like, I'm like, all right. I'm like, thanks, like, the photographer for TNA, Beezy, like, I've met him in the past, and I mark out to him because his work is amazing. And he's like, oh, stop, dude. He's like, your stuff's good too, man. And keep going at it. Like, like I said, CSW was my first promotion that I got to work with. Um, and then now I've evolved as just like freelancing. My buddy wrestles with Unicorn. He works with NWA. I was going to work NWA on the 27th of this month, but turns out we have a show. Freelance has a show the same day, which is also sold out. So being able to work, I've done HOG, House of Glory, Fourth Rope. I've worked I've worked media with TNA, not TNA, sorry, AEW. And then it was a wrestling revolver. It was at Sammy Callahan's promotion.
Yep. Revolver. Yep.
Yep. When they came to Chicago, I came in, and then the cool thing is we. This is what I love. When I said wrestling connects us all, it connects us all. You may have a friend that be like, hey, like, um, they need another photographer. I mentioned you, blah, blah, blah. Cool. I did Revolver. Dude, I was the biggest idiot at that point because I didn't know that that was Sammy Callahan's promotion. And everyone's like, yeah, you just got to talk to Sammy, and I'm sure Sammy will be fine. I'm like, Sammy? I'm like, who the hell is Sammy? So I talked to Joe. I was talking to Joe Alonso because he was on the card that day. I'm like, dude, who's Sammy Callahan? He's like, what? He's like, you don't know who Sammy Callahan is? I'm like, no. I'm like, who is he? He's like, dude, he wrestles for TNA. I'm like, okay, and he's like, dude, he's like, you seriously don't know who he is? I'm like, no. And then when somebody showed me a picture, I'm like, oh. So I go to the bar and I'm like, you're Sammy Callahan, right? He's like, yeah. I was like, I want to apologize firsthand because I didn't know who you were, and some of the boys were mad at me, and I am so sorry. He's like, don't even worry about it, man. He's like, sometimes people don't know who I am, and it's cool. He's like, because he just carries a very low profile. Like, yeah, he'll wear a TNA hat backwards, but it's like I'm thinking it's a fan, but no, it was actually like Sammy Callahan, and we just like took a photo together. We chopped it up, and I'm like, dude, I'm like, if you're ever in Chicago, just let me know. I'd definitely love you guys. And he's like, yeah, he's like, definitely. He's like, we're thinking of coming, like, I don't know, I think a couple more times this year, but they haven't announced any dates yet. But again, it's like, it's those connections you make with other people. It's not, it's never been about like, oh, because I got in through, Joe Alonso, like, now I can name drop anybody. I'm always constantly hitting the promoters like, hey, look, this is what, I've shown them my work and who I've taken photos for, who I've worked with, and stuff like that. Because I mean, that way people know, and they value your work even more. But like I said, I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful for the opportunities that I've had to work with these promotions from Chicago and the promotions that come from like different states. You know.
Definitely. In going back to the connections thing, it's crazy the connections you can make through this because like going back to like Sammy Callahan and Revolver, like I interviewed Jake Christ months ago, who
Mhm.
so for TNA he does stuff with Revolver. He's friends with Sammy Callahan. But like I went to a show in Michigan, Rhino's promotion in Michigan. They had a convention out there, and I didn't know Jake was gonna be there. So like, and I've never met Jake in person. I've talked to him. I had him on the podcast. Um, and like I see Jake over in the corner talking to Rich Swan. Mind you, I hadn't decided to go talk to Rich Swan yet because I was like waiting on the moment when there's nobody around. So it's not like I'm one of, all these fans of the convention
Mhm.
trying to separate myself.
Mhm.
Not that I'm not a fan, but the podcast, you got to separate yourself a little bit, if that makes sense. So
Mhm.
like as soon as Jake's over there, I'm like, this is my moment because I know Jake. Like I've talked to him, so I go up and I'm like, "Hey Jake, nice. I just not to interrupt. Like I wanted to say hi in person." He remembered me, which I was so thankful he remembered me because at first I was like, "There's a chance he's not gonna have any clue who I am."
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
was funny because he was like, "I just saw you on the other side, and I was gonna say hi, but then you was over here." And
Yeah.
it was really cool. And then, needless to say, Rich Swan walks past me like 5 minutes later. He's like, you're the podcast guy or whatever." Rich Swan's real smooth and cool. I'm not gonna try to attempt to talk like him, but
Yeah.
it was funny. And he's like, when can you have me?" And he's like, "Are you free May 20th?" And I'm like, "It's my birthday. Yeah, I'm free." And he's like, "We're doing a podcast. Hit me up." And then walks
Yeah.
away. And I was like, it's crazy how wrestling works because it's insane. Because like former Impact champion, cruiserweight champ,
Mhm.
walked up to me and said, "This date, we're doing a podcast. Thank you," and walked away. Like
Mhm.
my mind.
Yeah. It's mind blowing, dude. I'm telling you. It's just like it's unreal, man. And it's like it's because of that. Like I said, it makes that strong connection, and you're just like, holy crap, man! Like, how did this happen? Um, but yeah, dude, I think who have I've met so many people, dude, that I forgot. And I remember one time one of my friends, he's a photographer, he's like a brother to me. He told me, he's like, "Are you more of the want to be seen with somebody, or you just want people to see your work?" And I'm like, man, I'm a little bit of both, but at the same time now it's like, no, you know what? Like I want my work to be seen. I don't want to be seen with famous people because
A
then it's like,
hundred
oh yeah,
percent. I get it.
because dude, like honestly, like I tell you, like I probably I think I'm not sure. I think I might have like a photo with Santana. I didn't take a photo with Indy Hartwell, but I got to interview her. I got to interview Ash by Elegance. I got to interview Thunder Rosa when I went to that convention. Thunder Rosa, I worked with her last year when she came to Chicago during Thanksgiving. We did like she was doing a taco vlog, and I hit her up, and she was like, "Yep." She said, "Come down." It was her and Gringo Loco. Okay, cool. Now I make a strong connection with Gringo Loco. So now when I see him at other shows, I'm like, "Yo, what's up, dude?" And that's how it works. Like I've never, if someone were to tell me like, hey, you might have the opportunity to work with this person, great. If I don't, great. But if I meet them, cool. Like when I saw Thunder Rosa at the expo, I was like, dude, can I interview you real quick? I'm just gonna ask you three questions, rapid fire, and then we'll be done. She's like, hell yeah. So we did it. Same thing with Ash by Elegance. I'm like, do you remember me? And she's like, oh yeah. She's like, you were my muscle man at BLP. I'm like, far from a muscle man, calm down. But it was one of those again, it's those connections. I'm like, hey, I'm like Ash, I'm like, can I interview you real quick? I know it's like you're almost time to leave. I should have gone earlier, but your table was packed. She's like, okay. She's like, what are you gonna ask me? I'm like, oh, it's just gonna be like three questions, rapid fire, like your favorite food, your favorite like or your favorite shoe. Like it was just pretty much those questions. And then she's like, oh, she's like, yeah, yeah. She's like, let's do it. But the tongue twister of all, I was like, when I did my interview and we haven't posted it yet, I'm like, I'm here with like one half of the women's TNA knockout champion, Ash. Dude, I was like getting tongue twisted. She's like, it's not that hard. I'm like, no, it is hard. Because I got to introduce the entire thing plus your name. And she's like, you'll get it. And then so we had to do a retake. but eventually I stumbled upon my words, but I got it. But like I said, I'm thankful that I've gotten to meet a lot of great people. Um, and I've only been doing this for 3 years. It makes it seem like I've been doing it for a lot longer, but no, I've been doing it for 3 years. I've met a lot of cool people in the process. I've met a lot of great wrestlers who now I see on the mainstream and be like, oh crap, I remember when I saw them in the indies, and now it's like, look at them now. I'm like, it's like a dad seeing their kids grow up. I'm like, there they are. Um, but it's like for me, that's the beauty of wrestling, and for me, the beauty of photography is that I'll always catch a moment, and even if I don't follow the wrestler, I'll be like, hey, I took this photo of you, wanted to give it to you. And he's like, dude, do you have any more? I was like, this is all I got. Dude, I love it. Thank you. That's it. I don't go in their inboxes I'm like, yo, I'd love to work with you. Because again, you have to be professional about it. And you have to like really just be like, hey, like if there's a chance, I would really love to work with you. And again, like I said, some of these wrestlers, I'll send them one photo, and it's probably one photo that I've gotten from them, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, snaps! Like I didn't know you took it. Yeah, they're like, can I tag you? Can I collaborate with you on it? I'm like, yeah, you can do whatever you want." And that's the beauty part. Like I said, to me, I I will always think, and I'll name drop them again. I'm always gonna thank Shelly, Missa, and Sky for that opportunity. When Sky had gotten signed with AEW. I was there as a fan. I wasn't there working, but I got some good photos of her. She was crying, were being thrown. And I'm like, why the hell is she crying? Like, what's going on? She gets on the mic. She thanks everybody. And I'm like, there's no way that I just got this girl's final match. And then it turns out the following week she's in AEW. I'm like, what the heck, dude? I'm like, so I think like that's how the trend has started. It's gone from Sky to Ricky Starks or Ricky Saints as he goes on WWE, and then now Indy Hartwell. And I was telling an infamous photo, I was like, dude, I'm like, I think I have this thing where it's like I interview them and then they go to some promotion the following week. He's like, dude, he's like, I've noticed that. I'm like, he's like, you must be like a charm or something. I was like, I don't know, dude. I was like, all I know is that like it's just those connections, man. And then it's like one of those things, like again, like there's questions that you don't have to ask, and you don't have to get personal with them because it's like I've seen a lot of these social media guys that have interviewed wrestlers, and they're like, oh, so what's next? Or I've heard this, and it's like you don't want to talk about that. For me, it's just more like I want to get to know
You.
you.
Yep.
I want to know what you like. What do you eat? What's your cheat day consist of? What kind of shoes are comfortable? Or what kind of music do you like to listen to? Like those questions are the questions that I feel as a fan I would want to ask my favorite wrestler. Dude, who's your favorite? What's your favorite movie? What are you into right now? Like
Know them
I
as a
could
person.
I could care less about, when are you gonna fight for the title? I'm gonna see it later down the line. For me, it's like I want I want to know I want to know you, but I want the fans to know who you are behind your podcast. What does he like to eat? What does he like to what's his favorite shoe brand? Uh, does he drink? If he does, great. What kind of beer do you like? Like stuff like that. It's like that's one of those things where it's like, oh, dude, this was pretty cool. Again, like I didn't know freaking in Australia they call Adidas. I didn't know that. And then I looked it up and I was like, holy crap. Like the guy's name for Adidas is actual like it's Adidas something. I don't know his name, but like yeah, I was like, oh man, I'm like this is pretty cool. And so like I said, man, like I before anything, man, I just want to thank you for having me on your podcast again. I know the first time we did it, I was currently working with one of the promotions, and it kind of sucked.
I
But dude, but you know what? I'm thankful for the opportunity to come on your podcast again. This time, talk about basically just what we love and what I love and what I love doing, man. Like, um, you know. Hopefully, I catch you at some of the shows here in the future. But if you haven't, like, you got to come out to a freelance show. You got to come out to, man, there's like so many shows in Chicago, and it's so crazy. The second wrestling, I would highly suggest you go if you could get a ticket for the July 31st. Cool, because I know they were saying that tickets were going by fast. But again, it's a gratifying moment when you do what you love and you do it because even you get fans, dude. Fans will come up to you and be like, "Man, dude, like I wish I would have met them," or "Dude, like it must have been fun like, doing a photo shoot with them or just taking a photo of them." Like, yeah, it is, and it's sometimes intimidating too because it's like, can I get a photo of you? And you don't know what the response is going to be because you don't know if they just came back from a flight back home, or it's been a rough day, or it's just like one of those things where it's like I just need my moment to myself, and it's like, all right, cool, no worries, and you don't get mad because it's like, hey, you have to respect them at the end of the day. At the end of the day, we're all humans. At the end of the day, we all go through things. At the end of the day, it's like we don't know what their spirit's like at that time. So it's just like one of the things where it's like if they say no, cool. Like, hey, have a great match. And that's it. But like I said, I appreciate the time to being on your podcast again. Um, it's pretty cool just to talk about wrestling and how it got started and just where it's going from here. Again, for me, I don't know where I'll be next month, but I'm trying to go to Texas for All In. I applied for media credentials for AEW. I know HOG is going to have a show down there. I don't know how many other indies companies are going to be down there, but I know for HOG, I'll definitely, hopefully, be down there. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's
Nice.
pretty much it. Yeah, man.
JC, before I let you go, I am going to put
Yes,
you
sir.
over a little bit. I don't think I told you this on the last podcast, which is kind of crazy. But before we met, um, I went to, it was at CSW, and I saw you at an
Hmm.
AEW show. I saw you at a couple one, and I was like,
Hmm.
I know him. I know who he is. I know
Yeah.
he's got something going on. I've seen his work somewhere, and
Hmm.
I couldn't put a pin on it.
Hmm.
uh, Finally, I talked to one of the wrestling friends, Eric.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great guy. Shout out Wrestling Friends. They host their watch
Shout
along and
out to
stuff
Rusty
like
Friends,
that. They're badass. But he was like, "Yeah, it's JC. He does photography," and then it clicked, and I was
man.
like, "Okay, okay, that's where I've seen his work. I got to talk to him." And
Yeah.
finally we connected. I don't think I've told you that story before, but I
Yeah.
had an inkling that I knew you from somewhere before we even had a chat. That you was important because you are important. Photography is an important part of wrestling, so I'm also going to put that over. You're just as important as anybody else that's at this show, just like myself. So
Yeah.
thank you for coming on and being a guest,
Oh,
taking
yeah.
the time today to do a part two, which technically I guess it'd be a part one because the other one's not up anymore. But thank
And I appreciate you. And I appreciate Eric too, and the whole wrestling friends crew. That they're amazing. And it's just like I said, man. Like I feel like we meet people when we make that connection. And honestly, like I'm very grateful to have been on your podcast again. Um, and again, like being able to talk about wrestling moments, how wrestling got started in my life. It, it's just one of those things, And so, like, I'm thankful for those strong connections. I'm thankful for everything that's happened in life, and yeah, we just keep it going.
Sounds good, man. I'm gonna leave this off at if you ever want to come back on.
Hmm.
I want to do a part two, technically part three.
Part
And
three, yeah, we can definitely do that to see where JC's at in this time in his career. But man, dude, I would really love to be part of your podcast again sometime in the near future. I wish you all the best with your podcast, and I hope it is successful. I hope that it continues to thrive, that you make those connections too with all the wrestlers that you have met. um, and honestly, man, like I just want you to be very successful, just like every person that I've met to be successful too, because it's like in this world that we live in, sometimes it's ugly and sometimes we don't all want to see each other win. But I've always I've always learned that there's nothing more than being beautiful on the outside and beautiful on the inside. Why would I rather be beautiful on the outside and ugly on the inside and be a type of person where it's like I don't want to see my fellow person succeed in life? Because in this road, we all go through different paths. We work with different companies. We get the opportunities to work with whomever. And I think that's pretty cool because it's like, man, like I would want that opportunity, or it's cool that that person got that opportunity because that work looks amazing. And so, like I said, thank you again for having me on your podcast. Hopefully this isn't the last time. But yeah, man, thank you again. Had a lot of fun. Heck yeah, I had a lot of fun being able to share some of my stories. But yeah, man, I hope we can do this again.
I will just leave this off at see you next time then.
Sounds good.